Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Hello and welcome to an all-new edition of Nevada Newsmakers. I'm Ray Hagar with the Reno Gazette-Journal. Today's guest just might be the first female governor in Nevada's history. Randi Thompson has the rundown.
That's right. We have an extended interview with a feisty minority leader, Senator Dina Titus.
And coming up on today's pundit panel, we have Bob Barengo, Bilyeu, and Ernie Adler. That's on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
This is one of Sierra Power's main generating plants. It's right next door to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center. These plants provide all the clean, reliable power that businesses need. TRI has 3 independent power generation facilities on site. For sensitive manufacturing companies and high-tech firms, this benefit is invaluable. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
For more than a decade, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has been helping the community embrace conservation as a way of life. That includes replacing more than 50 million square feet of grass with water-smart landscaping. During the worst drought on record, watering restrictions and tough landscaping codes have reduced the community's water use by billions of gallons, even as thousands of new residents were moving into Nevada. That's smart water management, and that's our promise to Nevada.
So, who do you use for workers' comp?
Pro Group Management.
I've heard some good things about them.
Oh, you bet. Employee background checks, safety training, claim seminars. Oh, and here's the great part. If you have an issue, they work for you, not against you.
Sounds perfect. And expensive.
Well, that's the best part. They saved me 30%. I've heard they've saved others 50%.
Works for me. Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. Today we have Senator Dina Titus, the minority leader, and one of the top candidates for governor. Welcome today, Senator.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for being on this morning. So I can't help, you're one of the few people that actually stood up and said this is wacky, the brothel tax. And the reluctance there was to legitimatize the business. It's legit. What's the problem?
Well, we allow it. We get money from it for the county, so I don't know what the problem was. It was put into my entertainment tax bill to broaden the definition of adult entertainment so that the ACLU couldn't say we're just singling out the striptease joints. It's all adult entertainment.
Now, are the striptease joints still in there?
Yes, they are in there, and they were in there in the original entertainment tax. This version of it simply takes out that 300-seat exemption, so it gets all the strip clubs, because a lot of them were getting out from under paying the tax. And I put them in because, you know, they are a burden on the community in terms of law enforcement, alcohol consumption. They don't pay workman's comp or give any benefits, so they use social services, so why shouldn't they pay their share?
Exactly.
Okay, Senator, you and Speaker Richard Perkins are locked in a battle. You both want to be the Democratic nominee for governor. Your campaign seemed to have permeated the legislature. Do you see, you got 19 months until the election, do you see this rivalry blowing up to a civil war among Democrats?
No, in fact, you know, we haven't been fighting in the session. It's just the press that's talking about it. Richard and I are on a lot of bills together. We have Monday morning joint press conferences. Lindsay Gisdra works for both caucuses. We're trying to keep that rivalry out of the session as much as possible.
Okay, now, Speaker Perkins was the key sponsor for the lottery bill that would help fund education. Right. When that went over to the Senate side, it was killed. Now he's a key sponsor for the full-day kindergarten bill. When that goes over to the Senate, do you think that'll be killed too?
Well, it's very expensive. I support full-day kindergarten, but you know, that Senate Finance Committee chaired by Senator Raggio is pretty tough. But if you want to talk about Richard's bills, you should have Richard on the show. I want to talk about some of the things I'm doing, Ray.
Okay, let's do that. You have a bill about sex offenders, and it's really timely because they found the dead body of the young girl in Florida just yesterday. Could you...
Absolutely. We've had several incidences in Florida that just highlight how important this is. There was a research done by the Reno newspaper that looked at Nevada becoming a haven for sex offenders because our law was not as tough as the neighboring states, and we didn't put the resources into enforcing it. So my law, my bill, and it's passed out of committee, co-sponsored by Senator Raggio, is to tighten up those registrations so that people know who's moving into their neighborhoods, and we can track sex offenders better, and they don't move in next to a school, and we know where they are and what they're doing. So I'm real pleased with that.
Now, are you going to have them registered on the internet so people can see their addresses? Because I know Nevada doesn't do that now.
Right. We will put it on the internet. We will put it within a block of where they live. Now it's just the zip code. That's a huge area. Yeah. Also, we're going to make them renew driver's license every year so you can keep up with them that way. I've been working with George Tagliotti, #1 law enforcement guy for the state. So we're pleased with the way it's coming out of Judiciary Committee.
Well,
okay, Senator, Speaker Perkins has gotten Pete Ernie to help with his campaign. Mr. Ernie is considered like the kingmaker of Nevada politics. Who are you going to get to run your campaign?
Well, first, I don't see Pete Ernie as the kingmaker. He's a #1 Republican operative. Richard let him do redistricting a couple of years ago, and the Democrats kind of got screwed, so I'm not sure that he's really got the Democrats' best interest in mind. I have been interviewing nationally recognized pollsters. I'm going to choose one of those, and on the 7th, I'm bringing in 4 nationally recognized media firms. So this is not something I'm doing out of my backyard. I'm doing this the right way and very professionally.
Can you raise enough money to become the governor? How much money are you going to have to raise to win this election?
Well, I think for a primary, you have to have a couple of $1 million, and I'm confident that I can raise it. I've always raised money in the past. You know, I'm in the middle of my term. I'll be back as a senator whether I win or not. So I think as my ability to raise money increases, Richard's decreases because he'll be out of office.
Okay.
Right. Well, now there's a question I have is that there's legislating, and there's administrating. What interests you about, and generally legislators don't like to be administrators, so what interests you about the governor's office that you'd want to leave the legislative part and do the administrative part?
You know, that's a really good question. I love the legislature, and I have enjoyed being there for 16 years, and I think my record is good. I leave Red Rock protected. That's a wonderful legacy. But, you know, over the years, the legislature has been hamstrung more and more. Now it takes 2/3 to pass anything. More stuff is done by initiative, limited terms, only 120 days. I feel like I've done just about all I can there. I'm ready to ratchet it up a notch, and I think the governor is the place to do it because you can have some leadership there and turn the state in a certain direction.
But you'd rather do that versus running for Congress, where you could continue the legislative role.
Right. You know, a lot of people have talked to me about the congressional seat in the South. I'm too old for that. I don't want to be commuting back and forth. Besides, that's Perkins' district. Let him run against John Porter.
There you go.
Let's take a break right here, Senator. We'll be right back. Stay with us for a couple minutes. We'll be right back.
For a videotape copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years.
Reno's best dining values are all at one casino, the Pepper Mill. You can enjoy great savings on our popular specials. Pepper Mill's coffee shop offers daily lunch specials, low-carb dining, and all your favorite comfort foods. You'll find sensational lunch specials featuring Reno's freshest seafood, sushi, pasta, and more at Oceano. And early bird specials at Reno's Premier Steakhouse and Romanza Ristorante Italiano. The best values are at the Peppermill. Where are you dining?
Your best value in sight is here for you to see. From frames to lenses to eye exams, you're covered A to Z. Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
Davis Optical Centers, with 2 locations in Reno and Sparks.
Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
When you need a new employee, how can you be sure who you're really hiring? A background investigation by Employer Links will uncover criminal records, verify the applicant's education, check their credit history and Social Security verification. An investigation will research professional licenses and driver's licenses and let you know why they're unemployed. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
You are watching Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome back. We're here with Dina Titus, the Senate Minority Leader and a leading candidate for the gubernatorial Democratic governor's spot.
So, Senator, a property tax cap was actually introduced in 1999. Why now? Why did it take this long for this issue to finally make it to the other side of the aisle and become what it is today, which is passed now?
I think it's a function of the market. We've just seen the values increase. We talked about them up at Lake Tahoe, and we got an amendment to the Constitution about economic hardship. But, you know, this is something that's widespread. Everybody's housing values are going up, and sometimes it's double, triple. You know, people just can't afford to stay in their homes, so we had to do something.
Well, now, obviously, there was a recent town hall meeting in Green Valley, and Senator Hecht was heckled a little bit, along with the rest of the folks. Did you want to kind of say, I told you so?
Well, he deserved to be heckled a little. You know, I had the bill that would freeze property taxes for a year, and that would give the legislature time to look at it, study what are the real ramifications in the long term, because I don't think we've seen the end of this issue. Senator Hecht kind of piggybacked onto my bill. They even called it the Titus Hecht proposal. Then he changed his vote at the last minute. That freeze, though, went down 11-10, but I considered it a huge victory. And even Senator Thompson said on the floor that if it hadn't been for my freeze, the cap, which was at 6% by Mr. Perkins, would have stayed much higher, and my freeze helped to bring that cap down to 3%. So at least we got something as a result of that.
But now, do you see something in the long run? This is only a short-term fix.
Right.
What do you see in the long run to really tackle this issue?
Well, this is really unconstitutional, I believe, in 2 ways. It's unconstitutional because it sets up 2 roles, separate roles, one for homeowners and one for business and other property. That's unconstitutional. And also it uses that hardship exemption for everybody. I mean, you know, you got to have a definition of hardship. However, there was a proposed Constitution amendment to create split roles, and that was turned down. So that's why I say it's still pretty much up in the air, and I think you'll still see a Prop 13.
Senator, the senators that did not vote for the freeze, do you think they're going to face a tough time with the voters in the next election?
Well, a lot of them are in safe districts, and when people got a 3% cap, that's something that will help to take a little of the sting out of it. But I think people will always remember that a freeze was less than a cap, and so it'll come back in the next election.
Well, you've taken a lot of moderate stances, even conservative stances. Is this the real Dina Titus, or are you taking these more conservative stances, more Republican stances to get elected governor?
You know what, Ray, if you go back and look at my record, this is no different from what it was before. Now people are just focusing on it. The emphasis last time was saving Red Rock, so that got the focus. The emphasis this time is property tax. But if you'll look at all my comments during the last session when we tried to put together a tax package, I said of all things you don't want to increase, it's property tax and sales tax, because that's what everybody has to pay. So my position on the freeze is totally consistent with all of that.
Okay, now on the Republican side of this gubernatorial race, you have Congressman Jim Gibbons as the front runner. Now recently he had a speech in Elko which we found out was plagiarized, but he also made a comment that he wanted Nevada liberals to be used as human shields in Iraq. This didn't go over very well, but we're almost 19 months away from the election. Do you think voters will forget about this?
Well, we'll remind them of it. And it's not just that particular speech, which was a bad speech and a stolen speech, but it's the fact that it shows that I think Jim Gibbons is out of the mainstream. He also said anybody who criticized the commercialization of the inauguration was a bunch of communists. Nobody knows about communists anymore. That sounds like the 1950s. So I think you just track what he says, and it shows that he's out of the mainstream. He doesn't represent what's going on today in Nevada.
Now, the governor recently had a proposal about health care benefits for retirees. What's your position on that, on his position, on his bill?
Well, he wants to not continue health benefits for anybody who is hired now to the state. Doesn't have anything to do with state workers up to this point. I don't think we need to cut that off because Nevada is already one of the states with the lowest number of insured, and so we'll be creating another pool of uninsured, and we'll end up paying for it some way or other. You'll pay it through social services or a Medicaid or something. But I think it is expensive and we need to do something, so maybe there could be like a joint contribution to a medical savings plan, or maybe a bare bones health insurance policy without all the mandated benefits. I think we need to do something to fix it, but not just chop it off.
Okay. Senator, is Nevada really ready for its first female governor, or is this state still controlled by good old boy politics?
Well, there certainly are good old boys trying to pull the strings, but I don't think you can anoint somebody like you used to could. I think that we're too diverse. We've got people who have moved here from all parts of the country. Arizona elected a woman governor, and I believe they're more conservative than Nevada. Nevadans vote for the person that they like, and the person who relates to the issues that they care about. I don't think it matters to them if it's a man or a woman.
Okay, we have to, excuse me, Randy, we got to wrap it up right there. Senator,
okay.
thank you so much for coming on, and please come back, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll be back with our pundit panel right after this.
This is Nevada Newsmakers. Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The Resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seemed to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this. They saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
If it's fun, it's here at the Pepper Mill, the $100,000 video-themed slot celebration, with more winners each week, 100 random winners every Monday and Wednesday, and more cash prizes, $6,000 random drawings every Friday, plus chances to win up to $1,000 in free slot play on Mr. Money's Challenge. You'll have more fun with the Pepper Mill's video-themed slot celebration, now worth over $100,000.
The slots that rock are at the Pepper Mill. Where are you winning?
Many of the materials we rely on every day come from the ground, and modern mining technology brings them to us cleaner and safer than ever before. To learn more about America's natural resources, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
You are watching Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome back for our pundit panel. Today we have Bilyeu, Bob Barengo, both former speakers of the Assembly, and former state senator Ernie Adler. Welcome to y'all, folks.
Good morning. So there's a lot of bills that are no longer going to be active. Obviously, we don't have the legalization of lotteries, and the marijuana issue is going to go back to the voters. But what about the brothel tax? Why did it fail? Come on, Bill.
He's a rural kind of guy, but I think they didn't want to give legitimacy to the brothels, and by taxing them, you imply that they're legitimate.
But aren't they legitimate now? They are taxed by the counties.
They're taxed like $200,000 a year by the counties.
They're legitimate, but they're not. We kind of pretend like they're not, except that we have this comprehensive scheme of laws concerning prostitution and where it may be, where it may not be, that kind of stuff. That's kind of a fiction. I mean, I always favored a sex tax. I mean, just on the sex act itself. Men would over-report. men would over-report, and women would be absolutely honest.
Gee, on that note...
Ernie, do you want to comment on that?
I think I'm going to let that one go.
Okay. Well, let's talk. Senator Titus was just on, and we talked to her about maybe this split between the Democrats over who they're going to support in the gubernatorial election. She made a reference that maybe we in the media are making too much of this. I'm just wondering what do you folks think about it? Is there a big split?
I don't really see. I'm down at the legislature a lot, and I really don't see that much of a split. I think that both are qualified candidates, and most Democrats are willing to go with either one. So I really don't see as much tension as displayed in the media, to be quite honest.
Well, but we say both. I mean, I think there's maybe more than two out there.
Both at the legislature.
Both at the legislature, yes.
And the real tension is not so much in terms of what rank and file Democrats are, but the real tension is where the power brokers are lining up, behind whom. That'll be the real tension.
That's a good point, because Pete Ernie, who ran Governor Gwynn's campaigns, who many call the kingmaker of Nevada politics, he is breaking party ranks and citing he's going to help Richard Perkins with his campaign. How big is that to get Pete Ernie on your side?
What, you guys want to handle that one first?
I think that's huge for a Democrat, to be quite honest. I mean, if I were Perkins, I'd be very happy with that.
Pete's very capable, very organized, has a lot of connections, and is a good campaign manager. So that's a leg up there to help.
Okay. Now, Senator Titus, she's going to have to go out of state, she said, to find a campaign manager. How do you go out of state to find a campaign manager who really knows all the intricacies of Nevada politics?
It's going to be tough. There are some good ones out there, but where she's going to have to go out of state is primarily in terms of money. Because if Ernie and some of the other boys are not backing her, that means they're going to be backing somebody else. And that means the money will flow from the gamers and the other power brokers to that particular candidate they back. And Titus is not going to get any money, particularly from those people.
Okay.
And there's also a big portion of the campaign is a pollster. And there are pollsters out of state, the good ones who know Nevada and have worked in Nevada. Yeah. So she'll be looking at that to help campaign and focus her issues.
So, Bill, are you saying as Pete Ernie goes, so does gaming?
Well,
in the sense of money?
There seems to be some correlation I've seen over the years.
I would say yes.
Yeah. I think it's still too early to say how everything's going to break out. I mean, there's a lot of unknowns out there still.
Yeah.
And that's very true. Well, some of the knowns we do have are bills that are still alive. And how do you guys see some of the bills coming out? Obviously, the property tax cap was passed, but the vehicular manslaughter bill. Can you see that passing?
I would see it passing.
I would say it passed.
It's got popular appeal.
Yeah, and how about the governor's proposal on ending the health care benefits for new employees into the system?
Well, that wasn't subject to the movement, to the limitations.
No, it isn't, but it's moving ahead.
It's still there, and it's still moving ahead, and I think the governor will be pushing. You know, every city and county already does that. If you're a new hire in Washoe County or a new hire in the city of Reno, you don't get lifetime health benefits when you retire.
Mm-hmm. But I think it brings up a bigger issue in Nevada is how do we start insuring everybody with health care? Not just state employees, it's not county employees, but people in the private sector as well. We have about a third of our people that don't have coverage, and that really seriously needs to be addressed.
Well, and that brings up in the Canada bill, the drugs from Canada. I mean, do you guys see that happening and, going against federal law?
Oh, I think that'll happen. Nevada doesn't mind going against federal law.
No, it never bothered us. Yeah, right. Speed limit, you name it.
The rebels that we are, speed limit, exactly. Yeah.
You know, one of the key debates that's going to take place in the next 50 days is about this full-day kindergarten. $72 million price tag over 2 years. That's what the Democrats want. Governor Gwynn wants a $100 million fund for remedial help for schools that need full-day kindergarten. How is this going to play out? Do you see a compromise on this full-day kindergarten issue?
Well, I think that there's a lot of support for that among the citizens in general. I also think that there's a lot of support for giving the money to the local school district and let them decide what they need it for. And so there may be some compromise with that to say, you know, one of the things you need to look at is full-day kindergarten, but here's the money, you decide how to use it.
A little more local control, at least. Yeah.
I would agree with that, because some of your very rural counties, it's difficult to get a kid to kindergarten to begin with, so you might do something as an optional, 3 days a week or 2 days a week, full days, instead of a full week of kindergarten.
Okay.
If education is supposed to be left at the local angle, though, are we looking at almost dictating our curriculum? I mean, look at Bob Beer's bill to start school earlier.
We've already done that.
I know,
We did that a number of years ago.
Where is county control versus the state legislature? You can tell we're not a home rule state.
County control is largely a myth.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
especially with no child left behind coming down from the federal government.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
guys, we're going to have to break it right there. We'll be right back after this, folks.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
This is one of Sierra Power's main generating plants. It's right next door to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center. These plants provide all the clean, reliable power that businesses need. TRI has 3 independent power generation facilities on site. For sensitive manufacturing companies and high-tech firms, this benefit is invaluable. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
Your best value in sight is here for you to see. From frames to lenses to eye exams, you're covered A to Z. Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
Davis Optical Centers, with 2 locations in Reno and Sparks.
Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years.
Until 3 years ago, my medical problems have been very few. I knew very little about the medical world. Then I got pneumonia, which produced heart trouble, and I was suddenly thrust into a whole new experience that was very bewildering and very difficult to handle.
One-stop access for caregivers, NevadaCareConnection.org.
Okay, Randy, who do we have coming up tomorrow?
We have Superintendent of Education for Washoe County, Paul Dugan, and Judiciary Chairman, Bernie Anderson.
Thanks for watching.
Appreciate
We'll see
it.
you tomorrow. Okay.